What's up, guys? Welcome to Gwhisky. My name's Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. That sounds interesting? Hit subscribe down below. With that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Tobermory 12-year-old. Stick around. Okay, so it's the Tobermory 12 today, and this is actually a re-review of this whiskey. And of course, I want to look at it again because I have some notes, I have some updates, some more things that I want to talk about. But I also want to put out a proper review of this stuff. The first time I reviewed it, it was way back in early 2021, around the start of the channel. I think this is one of the first few videos I put out on the channel, and it was pretty cringe. I was very new to YouTube. I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera yet, and I guess I was still finding my style. And you know how I take pride in giving quick, concise whiskey reviews? Might have taken it too far with that one. What's up, guys? Welcome to Gwhisky. My name's Jeff. Now, this is a channel where I offer my thoughts, my opinions, and some scores on various whiskeys that I try. So if that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our review? We're looking at the Tobermory 12-year-old today, so stick around. Yeah, basically, I'm talking at light speed throughout the entire thing, and I don't know why I did that. And even the review itself and the information aren't that bad. But it's just, it comes off like I drank 5 Red Bulls and did 7 lines of Coke before shooting. Don't do drugs. I'll link it up there if you want to check it out, but yeah, it's weird. Anyway, Tobermory 12 from the Tobermory Distillery on the Isle of Mull. Let's be honest, Tobermory at this point is probably better known for its Lejag line, which is amazing. Tobermory itself, particularly the 12, I think it gets the respect of the whiskey community, but it doesn't get a lot of the love. I think most people who have tried this one aren't going to rant and rave about it. They'll probably give you similar feedback to what I often hear from my girlfriend, which is, I'm not impressed, but I don't regret the experience. So I think generally speaking, people do get along with this stuff. I know plenty of people who genuinely enjoy it. They think it's a fantastic whiskey. This one is matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in virgin oak casks for, I believe, 9 months. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So we can expect a pretty cask-forward profile. Personally speaking, I do like Tobermory. I'll admit I prefer the Lejag line, but Tobermory, really solid stuff. I like that all of their whiskeys are craft presented. In fact, I think they're the only one of the 3 Distell single malt brands that give us craft presented whiskeys across their entire line. Meanwhile, their sister brands Deanston and Bunnahabhain have put out some cheeky 40% whiskeys for the Taiwan market. I think Deanston also has a 40% Kentucky cask or something in the West. But every modern release I know of from these guys, from Tobermory, has kept it craft presented, has kept it 46% ABV or higher, which is wonderful. And listen, I did enjoy this one in my last review. I think I gave it something like 86. So I imagine things are going to go pretty well this time around as well. Let's find out. Let's jump into our review. And in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. As I just mentioned, this is craft presented, so we've got a 46.3% ABV. It's going to be non-chill filtered, and I believe it's naturally colored. I'll show you our color there. As for the bottles, I think Lejag and Tobermory have a beautiful bottle design. I like the label design as well. It's not too noisy. They keep it simple. They have some pops of color. It doesn't look too generic. It's modern. It's got some style, but it's not too flashy or too tacky. So really good bottle. I'll give it 4.5 out of 5 for presentation. We do have non-chill filtered on the side. Nothing about being naturally colored on the bottle. I will give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm a very nice man, but it definitely should be communicated to the customers if it is naturally colored, and if it isn't, that's even more regrettable. So that gripe aside, bottle looks great. I'm a fan. All right, so I did add a splash of water. Let's try our nose. So very fruity. Apples, apple skins, fermented peaches. There's some dates in here, maybe some grapes, like some purple grapes, Concord grapes. Vanilla, toffee. There's baking spices, pudding, butterscotch. It's very malty. It's very inviting. Now our palate. So we have a nice, oily, thick texture. It's mouth coating. Vanilla, butterscotch, spices, baking spices, nutmeg. It's not as sweet as the nose suggested. There's butter, honey, treacle, florals, white pepper, wood varnish, and some semi-bitter herbal notes. Now our finish. More bitter, more herbal, more pepper, nutmeg, cloves, honey, but like a honey that's been infused with herbs. We also have some fermented fruit notes in here. There's a very, very slightly lactic tinge to it, but don't worry, it's nothing off-putting. There's an airplane in the background. I live near an airport. It's very annoying. I don't know if this is coming through. I'm going to keep going. Anyway, our finish lingers on pepper and some of those herbal notes. It's a medium finish. All right, so I don't know if it's the whiskey or if it's me, but this one definitely hits different from my last bottle. All whiskey is batch whiskey, whether it's stated or not, so could be the whiskey. I might be to blame there. Such as the enigmatic nature of the whiskey review, the mysteries of life. But yeah, it definitely does seem to hit different from my last bottle. Where my last one went sweeter, this one seems to go more herbal in a slightly more bitter direction. Don't worry, not off-putting, but it's a thing. And I said the sweetness in the last bottle, that seems to be toned down here. A lot of those first fill bourbon, thick, heavy, sugary vanilla notes, again, still there, but toned down. And as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. We definitely have a strong cask influence here, but it doesn't overwhelm the spirit. And as long as we have a quality spirit, that's not a problem. This is quality stuff. I think it's good whiskey. I mentioned earlier that a lot of people tend to walk away from this stuff feeling pretty good about it, even though they're not blown away. I kind of agree with that. That's me. Yeah, I feel good about it, but it doesn't blow me away. I will say that it's a pretty mood-based whiskey. Some nights it really slaps. Other nights it's fine. It's nice. It's pleasant, but nothing too special. But I don't really have any complaints here when it comes to the approach. Like, often when I'm looking at whiskey, I'll tell you I would have done this differently. I would have done this differently. I'll tell you how I would have made the whiskey, which is funny because I have no idea how to make whiskey. I can barely make breakfast. But yeah, I'll be like, the spirit is not mature enough. It needs more cask influence, needs less cask influence. I'll complain about the ABV. Everyone's a critic, right? Which, to be fair, is kind of my job that I don't get paid for. By the way, I do have a Patreon. I guess if you twisted my arm, I might say that that bitter herbal note that was less pronounced in my last bottle is slightly too forward in this one. Doesn't throw off the balance, but it's a thing. Also that funky, vegetal, slightly lactic note that I love in the Lejag line, I feel doesn't work quite as well with the unpeated Tobermory. But again, those are very minor gripes. Actually, this whiskey works fine. The balance isn't even that wonky. I'm just whining for the sake of whining. I do like it, and I think a lot of you out there are going to do more than just like it. A lot of you are really going to enjoy this stuff. And it's funny because on paper, I should be head over heels for this. Because here's the thing, I love herbal, vegetal, funky, weird, offbeat flavors, and we do have that in here. And when whiskeys have that, they can really distinguish themselves from their more generic peers. They can come off as a more memorable and interesting experience. And this one does, but I just don't connect with it. I'm not in love. Even though this whiskey does seem to get a lot of things right. I love the butterscotch in here. I love the bitter herbs. I would say overall it's a very strong character. It's an interesting character. It's something that I would recommend that you guys try. For score, last time I gave this an 86. I'm going to update. I'm going to adjust that score to 86. Yeah, I know it's the same score, but I'm not going to update it just for the sake of updating it. At least when people click on this video, I'm not going to come across as a drug-fueled lunatic. So there's that. Anyway, final criticism, which is completely subjective and does not speak to the quality of this whiskey, is that on a visceral level, I find this to have very low reachability. It's not a whiskey that I come back to too often. There are plenty of other 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds out there that I would gravitate to first. So really, this is one of my more disjointed reviews. On one hand, I think this is a really unique whiskey that's underappreciated. And on the other, I'm telling you that I don't get excited about it and it's not a personal favorite. But it is quality and it is something that I think you guys should try. And it's funny because I know a lot of you guys come here because you want to get a sense of whether or not you're going to like a certain whiskey. And you're probably just as unsure now about this stuff as you were at the start of the video. And, well, shit. So I think for value, this is a great deal. It's a very unique and engaging whiskey. It won't be for everyone, but the price tag is very fair. And even though I keep saying that it's not a personal favorite, this is maybe my second or third bottle of this stuff. So it's something I'm happy to revisit because of that price. Definitely worth picking up. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our Tobermory 12 here? What were your thoughts? Finally, down below in the comments, you can let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.